Setting up a new Google site isn't difficult. Recently, Google updated Google Sites, and it's much easier now to build a Google site than it used to be. So let's look at Google Sites and set one up really quickly. So I've opened up a new window and a new tab within that window. And when I come over to the waffle on this new tab, you'll see that Sites is a button right here. And I'm going to click on that. And it brings me to my school Google Sites. Now, if you don't have that button, you can always go to sites.google.com and it should bring this up. And as I said, Google has recently updated Google Sites. These are all the sites that I built using the old Google Sites. And you'll see right here that there's a link to the new Google Site. So when I click on that, this is where it brings me. And these are all of the Google Sites that I have either authored, opened, or am a contributor to. So the second one over here is one that I built for the SAMR model, which you should have seen and gone through on day 1 of Canner Camp for the introduction of SAMR. So let's take a look at that. So again, this is my SAMR model Google site. And I'm just going to scroll through it real quick. And here's all the videos and the graphics that I put into this site. At the top, you can see the header. I've got the name for my Google site, and it's in the header. I've got my introduction and so forth. So how exactly did I do this? So over on the left-hand side, you'll see there are 3 tabs, Insert, Pages, and Themes. And when I click on each of these 3, the options down here change. So one of the first things I did is I chose a theme. I chose Impression. You'll notice that it gives you the title with the orange underneath, or I could have changed that to green or to whatever. I'm going to go back to orange because I really don't want to mess up my site here. But there are a number of different themes that you can choose for your Google site. You always have a home page when you start up a Google site, but you can always add more pages. And then from the Insert menu, obviously you can insert text, images, you can upload items, or you can embed items. You can have dividers, and depending upon which theme you choose, these may look a little bit different. So you can embed things from Google Drive. You can embed YouTube calendars or a map. You can embed Google Docs, a slideshow, a spreadsheet, a Google form, and so forth. When I mouse over each section, you'll see that I can change the image here. I can change my header type. I can type in here, and it gives me some editing menus as I'm doing this. So this is just a big text box. I can change the color if I want of the background. If I click up here on the More buttons, if you're into coding, if you want to strike through or you want to clear your formatting, so if I didn't want these bold, I could just make it all plain. That's what's underneath the More buttons. These are simply videos that I have embedded from YouTube. And then down here, these are just graphics that I embedded as well from my Google Drive. So let's build a site from scratch. So I'm going to go back, and from here, I would click on the plus sign to create a new site. And here I am. So again, it's just blank. Let's call this Learning Google Sites. I'm going to choose a theme. So I could go with simple, and I obviously can change the colors once it gets down in here. I could choose Aristotle would look like this, and Diplomat. I'm just going to choose one of these kind of quickly. So vision, you see you can put pictures behind it. Level, you can change the image here. So you can change the image on just about any one of these if you so desire. So the Aristotle has kind of a purple hue to it, or I'm sorry, the simple has kind of a purple hue to it. Maybe I want to go with green. So I'm going to choose that. And then I can choose the font style. So I'm going to say heavy. I'm going to make it really stand out. If I didn't like any of these colors, I could choose a different one. So maybe I want red in the background. I want pink. I don't know. I don't. I'm going to go back to the green. That's great. If I wanted to add pages, so I'm going to have my home screen. Maybe I'm going to have a page called Vocabulary. I click on Done, And I'm now on my vocabulary page, and it's set up by default based on the simple theme. So if I want to go home, you can see the 2 page links up here. I'm on the vocabulary. If I go home, I'm back on my home screen, and here's the link to my 2nd page. So maybe I'll do a 3rd page. I don't know, I'm just going to do like hints. If I'm thinking about doing this vocabulary breakout EDU digital game, and so maybe I want to have a page that has some hints to it, and I'm going to click on done. All right, and now my hints has shown up, and so you can see I've got basically 3 pages. There's the home screen plus 2 supporting pages. On my home screen, I can upload an image. Sure, I'm going to use the picture I took at graduation. So this is going to be my graphic for my header in my Google Sites. And here's my picture. It's a supporting picture. Notice there is a background graphic already. Right now it's on banner. I could make a larger banner. I could do title only. So there are some things that you can change, some things that you cannot change. I'm going to leave it like this. I think I like this better than the green Mod Podge behind it. And so I could add in some text here. All right, there's my text. It's not very witty, but I have text in here. And I mentioned that below they're going to find a link to terms and definitions. That's going to take them to my Quizlet, as well as a Google form to be completed. Now, I'm not going to go full tilt and make a full Google form right now, so I'm just going to use one that I have. But if once you complete making your Google form for your Vocabulary Breakout EDU game, it would most likely be in your Google Drive, and you could search for it there, or I can come down here into Forms. When I go to Forms, it lists all the Google Forms that I have ever made within the domain that I am in. So I'm just going to choose this one for now. So I've chosen my Arts and Crafts Activity Google form. I have one item open. If I don't want to do this, I can close it. I've changed my mind. I can close it down here. But if this is the one that I want, I'm going to click on Insert, and here's my Google form. Now, if I wanted to view, like a preview, I could click here and see what it looks like. Notice that this is just a graphic and that there's a button here, and if I click that, it will open up the Google form on a separate page. If I want it to be a live form within my Google site, I want to get out of preview here, and I'm back in my actual site, so I'm going to change this. So I'm going to trash this. So let me try embedding it from Google Drive. So I can search my drive, I can search the team drives, I can search the shared with me. So I'm going to go down to where I have here. I'm going to go into Cantor Summer Camp, and I'm going to find Arts and Crafts, and maybe it'll be, I'll do number 4. And here's my form down here. I double click, and again, now if I go to the preview, it's now a live Google form within my website that I can then click and start it filling out. So if you put your Google form within your Google site as a live link, it makes it very easy, kind of a one-stop shop for your students. So again, I'm going to, back here what I did, just to review that. With nothing selected here, I went to Insert from my drive. I navigated out to wherever my Google form is. And I found my form. Notice that the icons are below to tell you what it is. So while this looks like my form, I know it's really a Google Doc. This is my form. So I'm going to click on that and then insert, or I can simply double click on it and close this. And now again, if I go to preview, so it looks just like the last one that was just a picture. But if I go into preview, you can see, here's my picture. It is now a Google form. Now I can click on this button and it will open it up as the form on a whole new page. But as a user, they don't have to. It's simply right here for them to use. So there's my embedded Google form. Now I need to go out to Quizlet to get my vocabulary. So let me log in here real quick. So now I'm in my Quizlet site, and I'm going to go down to Business English and find one that they were using this year. So let's try vocab quiz number 9. And what I want to direct them to are the flashcards. So I'm going to click on flashcards. Let me pull this down so that you can see the URL here. So here I am on the flashcards, and what I want to do is I'm going to copy just the flashcards link so it takes them to my Quizlet and allows them to play just this mode within Quizlet. So I'm going to come back here. Again, back in my site, I'm going to insert. Oh, I'm still in preview mode. Let me get out of preview mode. We're going to add it down here and then move it. So I'm going to paste in the URL, and it's telling me it's just going to be a link, and that's fine. So I'm clicking the up and down arrows, or I can grab these little dots right here and I can move it up and down. So if I want to add text, I could say review the vocab quiz number 9. So again, I can click and drag this, put it right here, and maybe I want to put a divider in so that there's kind of this definition between the directions and what they're going to be doing. So again, here's my overall information. There's a divider. Here's the terms and definitions. I could put another divider in maybe between here and the form. So you can kind of set this up however best suits you. Maybe I want to add a Google Slides. So again, here's the snapshot. So it's going to embed your Google Slides right here. Notice that there are these handles. These little dots are called handles, and I can click and drag and make this a little bit bigger if I so desire. Close this window so I have a little bit more room to navigate here. So maybe I want to have this presentation almost as wide as my screen. I can do the same with this Google form, and you see magically my full header is now appearing. So now again, if I wanted to go out and preview how does this actually look from a user standpoint, here's my page title, here's a graphic, here's my introduction with that divider, review the terms and definitions here, and there's my link. Here's my form that again is a live link. Here's my presentation that they actually can navigate through, or they can just hit the play button and it will automatically go from slide to slide based on the predetermined time length that you set when you publish your slideshow to the web. All right, I'm going to get out of preview again. Actually, let's make this. So I've got the link down here, but it looks kind of strange and a little disconnected. So I'm retyping the link on the same line here, and I'm going to make it a live link by clicking on this. So I'm going to copy this, paste this, vocab flashcards. I can take them to the vocabulary page. I could take them to the hints page. I'm just going to leave it like this. And then I can delete this simply by clicking on the trash can. So again, if I go live one more time, if I click on this, it will take them automatically to the flashcards for the vocab quiz 9, where they can play, and they are 1 of 10 words. Once they're in here, if you've never used Quizlet before, you can click this to see the term, flip it again to go back to the definition, or they can see the next one, see the previous one, and so forth. So this is not the best title, so I'm going to close the preview again, and I'm going to say, here's my title. Again, with the handles, I can make this a little bit wider, and it will automatically center it for me because I've got it chosen as center. I could add let's add a new text box, and we'll call it Vocabulary Quiz number 9. I'm going to make it a heading, and I'm going to grab these little dots on the side, and I'm going to move it up to the very top and center this. So a heading makes it that size. The title will make it this size, so it's not quite as big as the header title. So play around with this a little bit. If I wanted to change the background color, again, there's this palette right here. I can choose any one of these. If I choose emphasis, kind of makes it green. And look, I can put an image if I want right back here behind the vocabulary. I'm going to leave it just like this. This looks pretty good. And if I go over to hints, this is our hints. I can add either a Google document that has the hints on it. I'm not going to be adding my hints. Maybe I've got this Choose Your Own Adventure form planning document that I want to include in here. And it only shows part of it. If I go into preview mode, notice there's a scroll bar so they can see the entire thing just a little bit at a time. If you want to make this preview window bigger, let's get out of our website preview. I'm going to go back to this section and I can click and drag this down so that I can show a greater portion of this document. And so maybe this document is only 1 page long and I want the users to see just this 1 page. I'll drag it down until I get to the bottom of this page. And now they will see the entire page when they come here. For my vocabulary, I could have the terms and definitions here. I could have another exercise for them to do, or I could just leave it the way it is. So one last time, let's go into preview mode. So this is what my Google site that we just made looks like. Again, the flashcards, it's a live link. We'll take them there. My Google form, they can scroll through. The presentation, they can work through. And if I go back up to the top, I can click on that vocabulary. It will take me to the vocabulary page. And if I click on hints, it will take me to the hints page where I've just embedded that document. And they are seeing the entire first page and a little bit more. And then they can scroll through that. So that's basically how to make a Google site. I'm going to close this. To share this, I can get editors, collaborators to work with me on this. If I click on the hot dogs, there's some information here. There is a tour available if you want a little bit more of an in-depth tour than what I've just given you. I can publish if I'm ready for this to go out and say anybody at Upper Adams or just anyone on the web. This is what the beginning link is going to be for me. Maybe I want to make this so vocab quiz 9 breakout EDU game. And once I publish it, it will go live and everybody would be able to see it. I'm not going to go live because this is not in any way, shape, or form ready to be published, but that's the basics on Google Sites and how to publish your own website.